What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Today on the program, I have the Rollers, Kalii and Jason Roller, to be more precise. They are a singer, songwriter, wife. Let's go with the thing for the Rollers. The Rollers are a duo comprised of a married couple, Jason and Kalii Roller. They are working on their debut project in the Americana Bluegrass genre. Well, that project has been finished, and we're going to talk about that in the next few minutes, so stick around. This week's shows, I have one public show, my usual Friday night karaoke video dance party over at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yeah, you know the place, your favorite place to be in the whole wide world. I said it on the microphone, so it has to be true. It's from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. They got a full bar, kitchens open, pool tables, pool tournament. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, you could do that at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. And check out the kitchen. They got some good food. Usually they send me home with some wings. Yum. But they got good pizza, burgers, the usual bar food, but it's so tasty. They got some good cooks in there. So I don't think I talk about the food enough over at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. They got good people, though. Good, nice folks, and great bartender. The sexiest bar staff in the whole wide world. I said it. Come on out to the Rab Friday night, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. Be there. And on Saturday, I have a private show at a public place. So I want you to know about the public place. It's the Valhalla Hatchet Throwing and Event Center in Morrilton, Arkansas. Well, they booked me for a private event at 5 o'clock. So unless you're invited, you cannot come. But I want you to know about the Valhalla Axe Throwing and Event Center. I'm kind of excited. This is my first time there. It's a brand new place. I hope they don't throw axes my way. That's what I'm a little apprehensive on that respect, but I've been assured by Scooter, the manager and the owner, that I'm not going to get hit with any axes. Good call. Good to know. All right, that's it for the intro. Let's get into it with the Rollers. I got Jason and Kalii on Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. Skyping the Rollers now.
Hey!
The note you just sent me on Skype. I don't know how to start this crazy thing. It made me think of the Jetsons. Jane, help me stop this crazy thing. Jane.
I kind of feel like that. I mean, and you would think I'd be more technologically advanced than this, but I'm not.
No, but you are. Oh, my goodness. Perusing your social media, you have a big social media footprint. And then Jason is just catching up with you, between your beauty products, your music. It's, where is Jason, man? I saw a head. Get in there, man. Get in there.
How you doing?
Oh, we're doing audio as well as video. Make sure the people know all about the Rollers.
And you want to hear a secret?
It's just you and me. We're just listening. Nobody's listening right now.
I do most of Jason's social media, so.
And that's the way it should be. When I do social media primarily just for advertising. I don't put a lot of personal things out there. I know that you, my goodness, this is not just a story about music. I know there's a love story in there as well, because you've convinced everyone that, yeah, your advertising it's really your wedding pictures. It's really your engagement pictures. It's really your life story, and you've put it into music, and you're using that to pull at heartstrings and make people come to your shows and learn more about the Rollers. And I want to know more. I want to know more.
Trying, I do really like him. That's not a lie.
No, there's no doubt it. And yes, I said that properly. Jason Roller, we haven't heard a lot from you just yet. And then Kalii Roller. All right. Well, okay. I do have to ask, Kalii, is that short for Calliope?
No, and I'm terrible. I never correct people on how to say my name, but my mother always gets mad. So it's Kaylee. She wanted it to be really difficult for everyone who had to say my name moving forward.
Okay. I knew a Calliope, way back when, and she shortened it to Kalii. And, she was Greek. So Kaylee. Yeah, we get the pronunciations right.
And most people think I'm from Hawaii with the double I at the end, but I am not. I'm from Chicago. So
Chicago, my kind of town. Jason,
yes.
You've been, well, all right. I can read her life story, but Jason, when did you start with this thing called music?
Oh gosh, when I was 4 years old, I got a fiddle put in my hand by my dad. So I've been playing. Yeah, I've been playing ever since.
That's a little baby tiny fiddle. But, I'm looking, you have your debut single. It's already out there. All the social media still says coming soon, coming soon. It's out there. The Rollers, Step Aside. If I watch that video, and I have watched that video, Jason, you're the hardest working man in show business. You got a guitar, you got a fiddle, you got a mandolin, it's like you're running around the studio grabbing stuff, getting in there. Is that, dude, you picked up a lot of instruments.
Yeah, that's been my life. So.
Okay, who handed you that fiddle?
What's that?
Who handed you the fiddle?
Oh, my dad got me into the fiddle when I was really young.
Why? Why does the daddy say that little kid, instead of throwing a baseball or a football at him, I'm going to throw a fiddle at him? Why?
So
Why
my
that?
dad plays banjo, and my mom plays guitar. So
they just needed to round out the bluegrass band.
Yeah,
that's all.
They needed to fill out the bluegrass band. So.
Okay, there's something. You're in the bluegrass genre. I just went to Harrison, Arkansas. I'm in Conway, Arkansas right now. I'm from Miami, the Florida Keys, but I married a hillbilly. And she missed her mama, and she said, "Can we pack up and go live in Arkansas?" And I said, "Yes, honey, we can. I can start my life all over at 40 years old. No problem. Happy to do it." And now, I've been loving it ever since. My world was blue down in Miami, the Florida Keys, and now it's green. But I was up in Harrison, Arkansas, at a campground, was Shady Oaks Campground, doing a party there, a karaoke show. And they said, "Hey, can you play some bluegrass?" And I said, "Yes, I can." Bluegrass, man, that's become like, well, I used to listen to a lot of reggae when I was down in the Keys, and reggae has become, take a pop song and turn it into a reggae song. Bluegrass, very similar. Are there a lot of original bluegrass songs such as Step Aside, or is it all, covers made into bluegrass? And what do you do?
There are a lot of original bluegrass songs, and we do all original stuff. We don't have any covers. We still get accused of being too country a lot of the time, but we do all original bluegrass stuff that we've written with other people. On the record we've been working on, we only have one song that we didn't play a role in co-writing, and we were supposed to help them finish the song, but dang it, they finished it before they came to us. So,
Well, I mean, I know you're Elvis fans. I perused your website a little bit, your social medias, and Colonel Tom Parker, whenever Elvis sang a song, no matter if he took any part in writing it at all, he said, "Oh, Elvis got to get some writing credit on that."
Yeah.
Is that in your writer? Did you steal some of the writing credit on that, or do you work well with others?
I mean, we work well with Barbara, Sonia. That's it. We got it. We're taking it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
We work well with others.
You're not Colonel Tom Parker types, and I no, I'm a big Elvis fan myself. First time I went to Graceland was 1999. They still let you go upstairs, look into the bedroom. You couldn't go into the bedroom, but they had a mirror that was facing the bathroom the famous bathroom where Elvis met his demise. And that was, 99. And I think after that, Lisa Marie was living there a lot of times. And at sometimes Nicolas Cage was living there as well. And and maybe Michael. I don't know. Maybe Michael was in there.
Maybe.
At some point.
So.
But no.
I love Elvis.
Yeah.
And I take him along for the ride.
Come on. I went and I stayed at the Heartbreak Hotel. I think it was 99 that first time I went. Yeah, the Heartbreak Hotel was across the street, and then and then it burned down.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm very jealous.
Oh yeah, well they had real keys, not electronic keys. And I told the lady at the front desk, I'm going to steal this key. And she says, yeah, just leave your deposit. And I said, can I have another key for my grandma, who was a bigger Elvis fan, who got me into Elvis. But, I know I'm digressing. We're not here to talk about Elvis. I mean, the whole thing is not about
Elvis all day. So
well, let's do it. What's your favorite Elvis song?
I don't know. I've got a lot of them. I really, for whatever reason, I love Suspicious Minds, but I also love Can't Help Falling in Love. Maybe we can turn one of those into a bluegrass song. Maybe that'll be like our bluegrass cover is like Suspicious Minds or Can't Help Falling in Love. That'll tick some people off, but whatever.
Well, ever since the movie 3,000 Miles to Graceland, Such a Night has been my Elvis go-to. And I know that's one of the later Elvis songs, but, watching, it was like a big music video, that whole 3,000 Miles to Graceland, all these Elvis impersonators, including a little baby Bruno Mars as an Elvis impersonator in that movie. Oh my goodness. I mean, for people that are listening, it's a very violent film. So unless you're ready to see lots of bullets and gunplay, don't watch that movie, but watch that movie because it's awesome. So Jason, man, what's your fandom? What you say your mom and dad, I mean, that's got to be your first fandom right there, listening to mom and dad play, probably on the front porch or what have you. But tell me about you growing up and where was that?
Oh man, I grew up in Indianapolis, or just outside of Indianapolis, and grew up in the bluegrass world, listening to people like Tony Rice and John Cowan, the Newgrass Revival, Bela Fleck, Sam Bush, all those guys, Stuart Duncan, the bluegrass stuff. That was my favorite stuff, and then it kind of morphed to country music and started playing country music, and moved down to Nashville, and here I am. 26 years later, just living the dream.
Wow. All right.
First bus at what, 15?
16.
16. He had his first touring gig at 16. So, when the rest of us were like serving milkshakes, or like I was working in a boutique selling children's clothes, he was like touring, playing music, getting to do the cool stuff.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Kalii, you're talking about the boutique. You're still into the boutique. You're into beauty aids. That's another side of you. I mean, everybody's got to hustle in this business we call show because the money's good. The money can be good, but the work is not steady. You got to hustle. A lot of people have day jobs that afford them to have the night jobs. The day jobs might have a little insurance. I have an insurance job, but then I do my DJ stuff and my podcast stuff, and that fills it all out, puts that extra cheese on there. But, you're doing beauty products. Is that something that you've been into your whole life?
I just have always loved it. I actually have a day job. I'm a counselor by trade. I'm duly licensed as a mental health counselor and as a school counselor. So that's like what makes money. But that's a really heavy job at times, and so I needed an outlet that was fun, and so
she can talk me off the ledge.
Yeah. He says I can talk him off the ledge, But yeah, so the beauty products and stuff like that is just I love that. I have a whole room in the house that's dedicated to my Barbies and my makeup, and a shoe closet upstairs, and so I like talking about that kind of stuff and doing that. So I'm getting ready to launch my blog at the end of the month and just doing the fun stuff.
What's Barbie's real name?
I mean, my Barbie's real names are all Barbie, so I don't know, but yeah, they're and there's hundreds of them in there. Isn't
it Barbie Millicent something?
Something, yeah. Something.
Okay, you and my mom would get along. I think she had the original black-haired Barbie when it first came out in the, was it late 50s, early 60s? She had black hair, right?
Well, the dark hair ones make a crap ton of money, so I hope she sold it for a lot.
I think she gave it to her daughter, my sister, my. Well, I mean, she's my 22 years younger sister. You know, mom still got it. You know.
There you go.
I think my sister's only about in her early 20s, but yeah, she's got the Barbie, and hope she cherishes it and all that stuff. But all right, Kalii, that's cool. Barbie and counseling, mental health, very important. You know, a lot of people ignore mental health. A lot of people that, you know, if you attempt suicide, maybe people pay attention to you. But if you say, hey, I'm feeling kind of blue, I'm feeling kind of depressed, people go, suck it up, buttercup. You know, my grandpa would have given me a swift kick in the pants and then sent me on my way, you know. See a counselor. What? I'm not spending money on that.
That's true. I like to think I'm a fun counselor, though, and that people like want to hang out with me and talk to me. So I like to think that. But
all right, there was a couple times when I was a kid, and growing up is tough anyway. I think my family was trying to figure things out. My brother was a little more of a hellion than I was, but you know, I had my times, my moments, and you know, he took us to counseling, and I remember playing puzzles and games and not really talking all that much, but.
You were doing play therapy. That's great.
All right. Well, Jason, what are you into extracurricular besides this music thing that really has enveloped your whole life? I mean, I haven't learned an instrument, but you have learned several instruments.
Yeah.
Well, I think probably sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big sports fan. I love baseball and football and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to be a baseball player before I found music. And then after I found the music paid a lot more at the time than baseball. And, you know, since then it's paid a lot more than baseball would ever pay me. So,
yeah. He married a woman who also loves sports. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, I suspect that this music business is a slight bit better on your body, a little easier on your body than sports, but it's not really, man. You know, if depending on how much you tour, how much you play, how often you want to get out there on a stage, that takes it out of you too. Are you are you eating right? Are you drinking plenty of water? What's your regiment?
Trying to. See, I've gotten into trying to walk about 4 miles a day.
Yeah.
So make that happen. But sometimes it's hard on tour.
Well, I'm a bit of a heavy person myself, and I remember back in my 20s, the only thing that tore the weight off of me was running. You know, what is your I mean, you're walking, and that makes you feel good when you walk. Are you listening to headphones, or are you what's in your iPod?
Oh gosh, man, anything from Prince to Steely Dan to
Mark Broussard.
Gosh, any of the bluegrass stuff, like I said, you know, Newground Revival, some of that stuff. Just, you know, basically anything that's good.
You should say you have your employer on your.
No, I've got my employer on my.
Yeah, Alabama. We can't leave them out.
Alabama.
You're working for Alabama. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So back in 2017, I got a call from Randy, and Jeff Cook was not able to do the day-to-day touring, so I got a call to go out there and play fiddle and guitar for him. So I'm out there on tour with him.
Jason Roller says what? That's fantastic. And you're an actual touring musician with Alabama?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that's something surprising. Like I said, there's a big old bio and many links for Kalii Roller, but Jason Roller, just a little bit of info out there. And I don't like to do a lot of research on these things anyway. I like things to unfold like we were going out to dinner and you know, maybe having a nice time and learning about each other. But
I'll take you for a quick side tour here so you can see these are all the records he's played on. So let's see. You've got the latest Alabama, you've got the Dave Mason record. You've got Lynn Anderson, Kristen Chenoweth, Joe Diffie, Deep Purple, Johnny Lang's up there, more Joe Diffie, Casting Crowns, Lost Trailers. Here's he loves this one. That's his Alice Cooper record he played on. Yeah.
All right, for the people listening to the audio version of this, check out the video version because she has Kalii has shown me hit after hit after hit, CD after CD, shadow box after shadow box of the music that Jason Roller has played on. Man, look, you're okay. Now I'm getting it from A to Z. You're a hired gun. You're a hired gun.
Grammy poster for when he was nominated for the first Grammy a couple years ago. He was just nominated for a second one this last year. So he's really the talent in this house. See, here's another funny story for you. You know, you said all the instruments that he played. So, you know, my dad, bless his heart, I'm his little girl. I mean, I hung the moon in his eyes as I should have. And I'll never forget the day we were in the car and he's like, duo, why are you going to do a duo? Why can't you just do it yourself to me? And he gets out of the car and Jason goes, yeah, I'll send him what it would be like if it was just you by yourself.
Okay. Well, I've seen you have a SoundCloud out there of you just by yourself. And I'm guessing this is stuff that's pre-Jason or maybe early Jason. Dating Jason?
Pre Jason and early Jason. We actually met because I was trying to get a solo deal and he got hired to play for me. So that's how we met.
See, it's good to be a hired gun. The music of the 50s and 60s and even probably into today, you know, there's a few studio musicians that play on every album ever made back in the day. You know, was it the Green Onions? Was it the Sledgehammer Crew? What was it? The
Wrecking Crew.
The Wrecking Crew. I mean, you're a hired gun, man. When somebody learns their craft, learns how to play, and even plays better than the actual band, they'll just bring in maybe the vocalist, the front man, and then they'll hire a bunch of actual musicians that can really play and get things tight. And that shortens studio time, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does. Yeah.
So if you hear something, how long before you place said something?
Couple of minutes. I mean, they'll pass us out a chart and we'll listen to the song down and then we'll go in and we'll play it.
You're a superhero, man. That's a superpower. Listen and then play. Well,
it's interesting. I mean, it's not done like this anywhere else, really.
No,
I mean,
done like what, really?
Well, I mean, just you get a chart with a bunch of numbers on it, and you sit down and you play it like you've played it all your life. And
well, what is a bunch of numbers? What is is that what tabs are? Because do you read music?
Well, we don't read music like that. So we have the Nashville number system where every number is a chord. And so, whoever the session leader is will write out a chart. And it's got a bunch of numbers on it. And all the musicians know, when they look at the numbers, okay, we're in the key of D. So, this number means this number means that. And we'll just start out and play it down and it'll sound like a record.
Well, to the rest of us, it's Greek.
Yeah.
Why that, Jason? Instead of putting out some sheet music or some tabs, why the Nashville numbers? Is it a secret code?
Well, it was originally made up because, singers would come in, they wouldn't have a band. So if you get a singer in there and if somebody would write out a regular chord chart, if the key was A and you've got the song written in the key of A, well, if the singer says, hey, I want to take it up a key, well, now your chord chart is all wrong. But with numbers, all you have to do is just invert the chord. So it's like a 1 is a 1 in whatever key you're playing in. So if you're in the key of A is your 1. In the key of B flat, B is your 1. So it's much easier to change on the fly.
Jason Roller, I realize some of those are words, that you've put together, and to somebody they have some kind of a meaning. I've had guitars; they all got stolen the last time I moved. Sadly, I had 2 electric guitars and 2 acoustic guitars, and they, thankfully they didn't steal the big giant keyboard. So my 16-year-old daughter plays that, but I've never had the wherewithal to sit and learn how to play. I think I knew 3 or 4 chords that this doctor that I was working with down in Miami was trying to teach me. And man, I commend you. I'm amazed, even just watching the Step Aside video. And I know a lot of that, it is a music video. It's a lot of lip sync, but you're actually, strumming exactly like you were when you were playing the song. And it's just so interesting to me. It's so amazing to me. Anybody that, if you're like me, you go and see a local show, you go over and see a roller show out there in Nashville, you're going to be watching the musicians and just have a gaping mouth, be amazed at all you can do. And then, just the icing on the cake is Kalii Roller with those fine vocals that you've been working on since you were 9 years old. What happened at 9 years old where you started singing?
I started singing before that, but just singing around the house and stuff. And then my parents took me for singing lessons because I just wouldn't shut up. And I started singing in my church and just never looked back. I just loved it. So, and then moved to Nashville after I graduated high school and was ready to move back when I got the single song publishing deal that led to the showcase that I needed a guitar player for, that Jason ended up being my guitar player, and here we are. So it just all kind of happened the way it's supposed to, I guess. But, I guess it all stemmed from just me not wanting to shut up. That's all.
Well, yeah, I understand the sentiment completely. The kids banging on everything, banging on my pots and pans. Get him a drum set and put him out in the garage and let him go bang it out. Oh, he won't shut up. She's singing all the time into her hairbrush. Let her go sing out to somebody else. We're getting tired of it. And then you sing properly. Not only, you get good singing lessons. Now, was that in Chicago? You were getting those singing lessons?
It was. At first, it was at my church. I had a great singing teacher named Daryl Von Bergen. He was wonderful. And then as I got a little older, he felt like I needed a female singer. So I actually I opera trained from 13 to 18 when I moved to Nashville. So if I really wanted to, I could sing some opera. Those parts of my vocal cords are quite rusty these days, but I could if I wanted to.
No, incorporate that. It would blow minds. You're in the middle of a bluegrass song, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, the whole crowd goes, ah, heads exploding. It's fantastic.
It's different for sure. There's nothing like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some people yodel, and if you bust out an aria, oh, hello. That's no. All right.
This would be like doing cartwheels up in heaven. She'd be so thrilled.
All right, my man Jason, you got handed that guitar to the fiddle at that young age. Who's teaching you how to play the fiddle?
Man, I had a bunch of different teachers. There was a guy that first started teaching me. His name was Tony Cooley. And he started teaching me how to read music. So I learned how to read music first and just started in on fiddle tunes. And then I started, finding out the best fiddlers, around Indianapolis, and, who can I learn from? And they'll teach me their secrets. They'll teach me their ways to play songs. But probably the biggest thing that got me was after I got into it and after I knew I could do it, I could sit down and listen to records and just pick it out with my ear, So that was a big part of learning stuff, was just sitting down with records and slowing them down to half speed and trying to learn all the big solos, all the big licks and everything like that. So
Indianapolis, man, I have a connection to that place. My cousin Pat and a lot of my other cousins, I have kin in Indianapolis around the Indiana Purdue. My cousin Pat was I don't know, some kind of administrator, maybe even a counselor. I don't know, but she worked pretty high up at the Indiana Purdue University over there. So, from what I understand, before I was 1 year old, I lived up there for a few months, and I have pictures of my cousin Charity holding me in the snow. And I'm glad that they brought me back down to Miami, because I would not have fared well in the snow. I mean, is it really? Well, I mean, are you still a hometown guy with your sports, and then are you a hometown girl with your sports? Is it still the Bears and the Colts?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah, we have a rough time sometime on football days. Thankfully, I grew up in Chicago where I was a huge Cubs fan, and for him, the nearest baseball team was the Cubs. So we do align in
With the
baseball.
Cubs, yes.
But he's a Colts fan, I'm a Bears fan. And then when it comes to hockey, I'm a diehard Blackhawks fan, and he never was into hockey until, me and living down here. So he's a Predators fan.
Well, okay, what's hockey? No, I'm kidding. No, you're really into sports, okay? Because I was talking to a Canadian fella a couple days ago, and yeah, that is the national sport. You're born, and I think the first thing they do is slap you on the hiney and hand you a stick and tell you to go on your way. But you're actual hockey fans. Do you go to games?
We do go to games. Yeah, we do go to games.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I've never really been into watching sports on the television. I like to go to games. I was into the Dolphins. I don't even know if they still have a team, but
They're trying.
I'm from Miami. Bob Greasy and Don Shula was my team back in the '70s, and then later was Dan Marino and the boys. But really, going to the game was an experience. Watching it on TV, not as much for me. And I worked on sports radio when I first moved to Little Rock, Arkansas. Thankfully, wow. I was like third banana, where I was playing the music and maybe working the microphones and what have you. And every once in a while they'd ask me a question. But I had some actual sports, superheroes out there from the Arkansas area, and it was just amazing all the facts that they could spit out and people calling in. Do you have all these facts in your head of who won this and who won that and how well the Colts did against the Bears? And
boy, not at hand.
No, he does frequently remind me of that dreadful time
game.
that the Colts beat the Bears in the Super Bowl, and I remind him that unless he wants to see his wife ticked off, he should stop it.
Yes, this is how you keep a marriage together. Yes, dear. Yes, dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good at those words.
I've learned that.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I see all the beautiful pictures of you. I got to know more about the love story. A Chicago girl, big. I guess you're big city, right? You're more of a big city, and then maybe he's a little more country. Or am I reading it wrong?
I don't know. I think we're probably both. We're probably both on the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the funny part about our love story is the fact that when he got hired to play for me, I wanted a different guitar player because I didn't even know he existed. And the girl I called, she said, "Oh, no, you don't want him. You want this guy. You want Jason Roller." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I called him, "Hey, can you do the show?" Yeah, sure, I can do it. Send me over the stuff. All good. Okay. Send him over the stuff. Nothing. Crickets. I hear nothing from him. I'm like, this SOB. I'm gonna kill him. And he didn't call me back. He didn't return my emails. I was like, I'm gonna fire this guy. If I can find another guy to take his place, I am firing him. And the night before the show, I'm on my way to the Bluebird to see us around. And my phone rings and I pick it up and I'm like, "Hello?" And he's like, "Hey, I'm just calling to see what time I need to be there for the show tomorrow." I was like, "What are you talking about? We have to rehearse." And his words were, "Rehearse?" Because God forbid he should need to rehearse, but I needed to rehearse. And so he was like, "Well, I guess I can come early if you need to run through the songs or something. That's fine." And so we hung up the phone, and I tell people this all the time and nobody believes me. But see, we've been together almost 15 years. So this was before social media was really a big thing. I couldn't look him up and see what he looks like. I had no idea how old he was. I knew nothing about him. And I had just been crying to my mom on the phone about 2 weeks before that I was never going to get married. I was never going to meet anybody. All my friends were getting married. And I hung up the phone and I thought to myself, man, he sounds really young. What if he's my future husband? And everybody's like, "You did not." I said, "I swear to God I did." And the next day when I walked in, he was sitting in a chair already playing the guitar. And when I walked up and saw him, the wind got knocked out of me. I don't think it was the same for him, but the wind got knocked out of me. Yeah. I was in hook, line, and sinker from the first time I saw him. And then I chased him down.
All right. That's Kaylee's side of the story. Let's go back and see what Jason thought when Kalii handed him some music. Go, Jason.
I thought it was the best thing I'd ever heard, and best thing I've ever seen.
He's such a liar.
And what you know, you didn't call, you didn't confirm.
Well, I mean, you know,
what up with that?
I wrote the charts out. I knew the songs, so I was ready. I you know, we don't rehearse a whole lot down here. You know, it's like you get together maybe a little bit before the gig and rehearse. But you know, she's like, you know, we got to get together a couple of times. It's like, okay, can we get together before the gig? You know.
Well, what year was this?
What year was it?
2008.
Yeah. 2008. Yeah.
2008. Okay, so you play that one show, and I guess that was what was that show?
It's at Third and Lindsley. Yeah.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Third and Lindsley.
Club down here in Nashville.
Okay, club that's still there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you ever go back and kind of remember?
Yeah.
Oh, and you still play there often, or no?
We haven't played there in a while, but we just went and saw a show there recently.
Yeah.
There's an artist we really love, Gabe Dixon, and he just did a show there. So we went to see Gabe Dixon there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that on the famous Broadway?
It is not.
It's a little off of it.
Yeah.
It's downtown, but it's a little off way.
Yeah.
Well, I know, you know, talking to a lot of people on this thing, you know, that when they go to Nashville, the bus drops them off at Broadway, and they think, all right, where do I sign up to be a star? You know, but,
Yeah, right.
but okay, I want to go to this 2008. You did the show. How did it go? How was the turnout? Did people appreciate? I'm guessing it was Kalii Roller's show where you were billing yourself what as Kalii Sue?
I was billing myself as Kalii Palmer, which is my maiden name.
Kalii Palmer. Now, where does Kalii Sue come in?
That's my middle name. And I actually, when I was younger and doing music stuff, because I did a lot of music stuff in Chicago when I was young. I sang with Shania Twain when I was 13. I opened for Randy Travis and a bunch of other stuff up in Chicago when I was young. I did often go by Kalii Sue or Kalii Sue Palmer. But then as the years went on, you know, Sue didn't feel as cool anymore. And so I dropped it. But now I'm, you know, I've always loved my middle name, but there for a while it didn't feel as cool, I guess. But
well, yeah, I could imagine your mama saying, "Kalii Sue, get in here. I'm a tan your hide."
I tell her all the time, I'm like, "Mama, you must have known I was going to end up in the South. You gave me a Southern name right from the start."
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2008, you play that one show. Where does it go from there? I mean, do you start playing shows together? Are you both living in Nashville at this time? Or are you back and forth?
No, we both lived here. We only lived 2 miles apart from each other, but we didn't know each other. We ran in a lot of the same circles, but never met before. Yeah. And like when I tell you I had to chase his rear down, I'm not kidding. I had to chase him down. I was the one texting him. I was the one like, "Hey, do you want to like meet up for drinks or something?" And he says now, he's like, "I thought you just did that with every guy you played with." I was like, "Oh, well, that feels good."
Ouch. Well, Jason knows he's got it, man. You know, when you're as good looking as that dude sitting right there next to you, you get it. All right. I've been fat almost my whole life. Okay. And then I lost a bunch of weight to go in the fire department. And let me tell you, you know, if you think guys are shallow, girls are as shallow as guys. They see something shiny and you know, and fit, and they go, "Oh!" Especially, well, I'm in the fire department too, and I'm out there in my shorts washing fire trucks. So, and the girls going by, woo woo, you know, whistling. So I mean, but hey, it's nice. It's nice to be chased. The usual is for the guy to be chasing the girl, but for a pretty girl to come chase a guy, hey, I mean, there's a little something to that. The roles are. Traditional roles are reversed, and you knew what you wanted, Kalii.
I did. I was not relenting.
And it seems like it's a good decision.
Yeah,
it did.
It has fared. Okay, so from 2008, how long was the dating process before the wedding, the actual "here comes the bride," the nuptials?
Almost 5 years.
5 years. It's
almost 5 years.
What, 2013, I guess?
Yep. Yep. We got married in 2013. We'll be married 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah, 9 years in October.
Fantastic. That's the love story. Now, previous to that, you were playing shows. How many shows a month, or were you making music, going in the studio and making records, or what were you doing from 2008 to 2013?
I still did a bit of my own stuff during that time. He's always done music. Music has always been his full-time gig. So I was still doing some of my own stuff. I was writing and things like that. And then, but like I said, I have 2 masters, two professional licenses. So school got in the way of music quite a bit there for a while. And then I finally, we got engaged right after I graduated with my master's. So really the time that we were dating, I was in school and working full time at that time. So.
Okay. So were you doing any of the counseling up in Chicago, or was this all, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I'm going to go to Nashville, play some music, and then go to school and get a day job too, and get a real career.
No, I didn't do counseling up in Chicago. And in fact, when I moved to Nashville and started at MTSU for my degree, I was going for fashion design. Quite a shift. But the thing is my parents have always been super, super supportive of me. But when I moved down here, the deal that my parents said, I had actually, you said something about Purdue. I had actually gotten a full scholarship to Purdue for academics and had always wanted to go to Purdue ever since I was a little girl. That was my thing. But I came down here and recorded a demo with some people for a week after my senior year of high school. And I came home crying, and my parents said they knew then that I was going to move to Nashville. And so the deal my parents made were, you can give up the scholarship. We'll do whatever we can to help you move to Nashville. We'll help you financially so you can do this, but you're not going to go down there and just be a girl who moves down there with her mattress on her car wanting to be a star. You're going to get a degree. We'll help you so you don't have to work, but you're going to get a degree. And so when I did my bachelor's, I didn't work. I just did music and did my bachelor's degree. And then once we met and I was getting my master's and stuff, I started working primarily because I wanted to get experience in the field. So I started working. So I was working full time and getting my master's and dating him. And then we got engaged. And
well, what I got from that story is whether you believe in the fates or not, you were heading for Indianapolis in the area. You might have bumped into a man named Jason Roller up there if your paths didn't go a different way. I think you were your polar magnets or polar opposites attract, and your magnets you're meant to be together. Whether you believe in that or not, you were heading for Indianapolis, his hometown.
It's funny. Oh shoot! No. It's funny to how many times our lives did intersect over the years, because I actually opened for John Barry when I was 16 years old, and Jason would have been 21, and he just left the John Barry tour like 2 months before I opened for him. I'm like, see, if you would have stuck around like 2 more months, you could have met me when I was 16. We could have avoided so many terrible boyfriends and girlfriends. But he says he wouldn't have dated me anyways, that I was jailbait.
No, this is a book. This is a rom-com where people just go, people are just passing each other, and, passing in the night. And, I didn't expect a jailbait to come into this podcast, but I understand. Yes, it just wasn't the right time. Timing is everything. And you guys met at the right time, and I'm sure you were both old enough, right?
We were.
Okay. Well, good. I heard a podcast that the age of consent back in the 1700s was 10, and then the 1800s it turned to 12, and it was like that until the 19th century, until the beginning of the 20th century. It really, it was in the South for sure.
I mean, at 10, I was going to say I was still playing with Barbies, but I would still play with Barbies now, so that's a bad example. But
yeah, 10. I mean, people live to what, 20? I suspect 10 might have been middle-aged at the time.
That's true.
But look into that. Look it up. Don't let this be fuzzy history, and you'll go, huh, Huh. But no, I'm glad you met at the right time. You played at the right time. I mean, Jason already had a master's degree in music, the School of Hard Knocks, music-wise. After the fiddle, what's the next instrument you pick up?
Guitar was the next thing. No, I'm sorry, mandolin. I went from fiddle to mandolin because they're tuned the same. So the only difference is just playing with a bow and playing with a pick. And so I learned to play mandolin after that, and then I gravitated towards the guitar and started loving how to play guitar. So,
well, I mean, guitar, you know why a heterosexual man picks up guitar? Is chicks, baby, chicks.
Exactly.
Because, what's that? Say it again.
It wasn't this one. One me, so,
Well, it definitely was you. Ultimately, it was you. He was learning all these instruments for you, Kalii. All for you.
Yeah. I'm going to tell myself that.
Oh, everything he's done his whole life has been working up to this relationship and into you and to put this together. And what a fantastic name, the Rollers. That's a great last name and a great name for a band. I was thinking about the Rollers. One of my favorite movies of all time is the Blues Brothers. And there's a Chicago connection to that movie as well. But at one point, they're getting pulled over by the police, and they go, "Uh-oh, rollers." Apparently, that's a Chicago slang for police, right?
I did not know that. I'm going to have to find that out. That's awesome.
Okay, I'm sure there's a little sound bite of it on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube, but just look up Blues Brothers Rollers.
Yeah,
and you probably can put that into a song. That'd be like, before the first track, or maybe like a hidden track at the end of your CD. Rollers.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Just slip it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was
a police officer, so I'll just have to start calling him that.
What? Rollers.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Rollers. And I suspect, when you walk into a room, people can go, uh-oh. Rollers.
I like it.
It'll be part of your intro. If you were getting introed by me, I'd definitely press that button on the soundboard. Yeah. But no,
I like it.
But okay, transitioning from Kalii Palmer to becoming a member of a duo, which your parents were fourscore against it, or at least your dad was, right? What made you say, "Hey, look, this guy's good. I'm going to make a go of it. We're getting married." Was the duo idea before you got married or after you got married?
After. And, really the duo thing was really more of an idea of a friend of ours. We had we have a friend who's in bluegrass music, and Jason does a lot of stuff for him. And he called up one day and he's like, "Hey, I think I can put you and your wife out as a bluegrass duo." And Jason was like, "We're not a duo." And he goes, "Yeah, didn't you do that Christmas record together?" And Jason was like, "Well, only because she had some songs she wanted to put out for Christmas, and I had some instrumental songs I wanted to put out for Christmas. Neither of us had enough for a full record, so we just did one together." And he's like, "Well, I think we need to do a duo." And so he got off the phone, and I looked at Jason, and I was like, "That's a stupid idea." But then the more we thought about it, the more I was like, "No, I could go for that." And then we sat down and thought, well, let's see if we can write some stuff and see where this goes. And it just kind of worked out. And we fell in love with the music we were doing and getting to do it together. And, at that point, I wasn't doing a whole lot solo-wise anymore. And, anytime I did do anything, no matter whether it was recording a song or singing somewhere, I was never doing it without him anyways. So, we might as well have been a duo. It just was my name on the bill. But it just took some pushing from our good friend Billy Droz, but that's how it worked out.
I'm glad you gave a shout out to Billy Joe. That's fantastic. Now, Jason, you were traveling all over the country, all over the world, maybe with your various projects, various different, or were you a hired gun for a studio?
Well, when we got married, I mean, I was playing with Kelly Pickler at the time, or Dave Mason.
He was playing with Dave Mason when we got married.
With Dave Mason when we got married, and then I went back with Kelly, started playing with Kelly again, and then I got picked up to play with Alabama. So, yeah, it's been, yeah.
He does a lot of studio work too, but gone a lot for tour.
Yeah.
Well, that's hard on a relationship. That's where I'm trying to get at is, are you touring away from home, or do you always have the ability to take honey with you?
Well, it's been a lot better here. When I'm in Alabama, I have the option to take her with me.
And when he was playing with Kelly, I got to go a lot, and Kelly and I got to be friends. So I would go and hang out with her and hang out with him, and it was always fun. And I get to go when he plays with Alabama. But thankfully, everybody he's been with, he's not been gone a whole ton. You know, he's gone, maybe 2 weekends a month, and so I take those 2 weekends to do fun stuff that that I don't want to do when he's home, like watch, romantic comedies or read a trashy romance novel or craft or whatever, go out with my girlfriends, and then when he's home we do stuff together, so it's okay, it works out.
Well, I mean, Kalii, you have also the responsibility of the counseling. Is that a full-time 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, or are you part of a group, or is it like your own practice? Is it tough to get away from that?
No, so I actually work in a school, so off, evenings, weekends, and then of course all the school breaks. And then I do some private practice stuff in the evenings. I do some telehealth stuff, but I get to schedule that on my own. So, so if there's a week I want to go do stuff with him, I just don't schedule any of that.
That is fantastic. I mean, and it's good. You're responsible for people's minds, and that's of course, everybody gets blue. Everybody gets depressed. Everybody has the blues from one time or another. And it's nice to have people like you, to help out, talking to them, have somebody to talk to. And on top of that, you got the music thing that's changing people's attitudes in that respect. They drag themselves away from their big screen TV, put their kids to bed with a 16-year-old babysitter, and come out and watch a roller show. And you're changing attitudes there. After a long week of work, they come out and see a bluegrass show. How cool is that? You're getting them on both ends. That's fantastic.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Get in all directions.
Well, tell me about the Rollers. Have you played out live as the Rollers, as the duo already?
Well, yeah, we do. We have some really good friends who have a band called Cache Creek, and we do a show the first Wednesday of every month here in Nashville called the Cache Creek Club, and so we are almost always there, and so that's the big thing we do every month. But yeah, and we love doing that. We get to, I mean, what's better than getting to hang out with all your friends one night a month and do a fun show? I mean, you can't beat that. So.
Yeah, big ups to Cache Creek. I've had them on the podcast too. They're good peoples. Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah, we love them.
It's wonderful how this comes around. The music community is so tight. Don't step on each other. Anybody that's thinking that they need to cut throats to get to the top, don't do it. Don't do it. Just love each other. There's a place called TC's Midtown here in Arkansas, in Conway. It used to be called the Grand Ole Opry West. And on Sunday nights, they got a blues jam or a Sunday night jam where you have all these bands that have been working hard all week, maybe Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday, it's pretty much just get together and play with your peoples. Is there anything like that you have to unwind with besides the Cache Creek, or is Cache Creek your thing?
That's pretty much the main stuff we're doing now. I mean, we would love to get out and play more, and I'm sure that'll come, but it's just with his touring schedule that makes it a little harder, but we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you will. Alabama's still going strong. My goodness. I grew up with those people. I had their records. My mom gave me some of their albums, and karaoke shows. Everybody's singing Dixieland Delight, oh my gosh. It's just, that's gotta be something, Jason, to stand on stage with legends and then become a legend, get those accolades, get that energy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, it's pretty surreal. Sometimes you don't even believe it's happening, but be able to stand out there with those guys and they still sound just as good today as they did back then. It's like, man, and to see the age, the generations that come out to watch the shows, it's like you've got so many people from, people in their 60s and 70s to all the way down to, little kids being at their first Alabama concert.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, it's got to feel good, man. Sometimes I look back at all the gigs that I've done over the years, since 1986, way back in the 1900s. And I think, how is this my life, man? You got to have that same feeling when you're playing with people. Alice Cooper? What? Really? How is that, man? I mean, I saw him. I saw him in Wayne's World, and I thought that was the coolest thing to have Alice Cooper actually acting in that movie. I mean, how is he as a person?
I wish I could say I never got to meet him. I played on the album. Okay. So it was things where I was brought in, but from everybody that I know that works with him, they say that he's just the coolest guy, Well,
I wonder about
I got to play an album on William Shatner a couple of years ago, and everybody said that he was just, the coolest, just down to earth guy. He was somebody you just wanted to hang out with, and it's like, that's awesome.
Okay, I wondered about hired guns. Is it similar to voice acting, where you may or may not ever meet the person that you're voice acting with? You're putting together a cartoon, an album. I've talked to people here, on this thing, where they're all over the world and they're recording in their respective countries, and then it all gets put together in Australia in some little studio, and there's your album, and they've never met each other in person.
It's the same thing here. I've gotten so many things to play on from people from Ireland and Sweden and just overseas, and it's like I've never met these people, but I've played on their albums for years.
Well, is it one studio that you're playing for? You can give shout outs to them as we wind this thing down. Let's start giving shout outs and start giving some last words. And I definitely don't want this to be the last time that we talk, because I want you to come back every time you got something new to promote, like this new record, Step Aside. But give some shout outs to people that have helped you along the way, and what studios are you working at?
Well, it's a couple of people over in Ireland, a guy named Wayne Thoreaus. He has given me a lot of work. He's a producer. So he's produced a bunch of people over there. Another guy named Jonathan Owens. He sends me stuff to play on all the time. And, it's like I've worked for these guys for probably 10, 15 years, and I've never met them.
Well, where do you go to record these things? Do you have your own little studio equipment in the house?
I have a studio set up here at the house.
We're sitting in the studio right now.
We're sitting in the studio. So,
well, I mean, it doesn't. I'm looking at pictures and stuff. It doesn't look like the foam, the actual studio. And I guess people record their vocals in closets.
See some of that. I can take you around real quick, but this is where we track the drums, and you got the keyboard, keys and the organ over there. This is where you get most of the foam, and here is the vocal room.
Yeah.
Which is dark, and then Jason does all his acoustic stuff in here.
Wow.
So.
Hey, when you got it, you got it. Okay. Well, now that you're recording your own things, are you open to recording other people?
That's mostly what we've done all along. We do a lot of demos here at the house. And the funny thing is, Bluegrass is what we're doing as our project. But like when I demo sing, what I get requested most for is like Carrie Underwood tracks. I get requested for that all the time. In fact, when I went and auditioned for American Idol, they told me that I couldn't be on the show because I sounded too much like her, which is an incredible compliment when they're telling you to go home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, when people slide into your DMs, business only. When they slide into your DMs, what do you want them to ask you about? I mean, are you open to collaborations? Are you open to, what kind of shows you want to play? Do you want to play at bars and clubs or state fairs, or do you want to open in arenas? Where do you want to go? I mean, is it nicer to play for 5,000 people, or are you cool with opening and playing for 50,000 people? I mean, where do you want the Rollers to go?
It's all cool. I mean, I think we just want to do music together, whatever that looks like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about this album. I didn't even know people made albums anymore. I thought it was all singles. I miss, going to the record store. And Grandpa, what's a record? But I remember going to the record store and thumbing through and picking out beats. And of course, when I was a DJ in Miami, you'd take all the labels off the beats, off the newest records, and then mark them like A5. And that's LL Cool J, but that's Run DMC, and that's Van Halen's new record, but you don't want anybody else to know. You rip off the label and you put it on the turntable. Who's singing that? Oh yeah, that's you don't want to know anything about that. It's awesome.
You were already doing a Nashville number system yourself then. Look at you.
See?
Codes, secret codes. Well, that's my job. No, my job is to play the music that, the people. I don't play music. The only thing I can do to help this world is to help people know people like you. I want more people to know about the Rollers. And you want more people to know about the Rollers. And I know you have a website that's probably still in the making, therollersduo.com. It's got a lot of cool pictures and some things there. But, I have your Facebook. I have your Instagram, your YouTube, TikTok, Apple. I have all that, and I'll put it in the show notes for sure. But,
thank you.
If you want to thank a few people before we get out of here. If there's anybody left.
I think the big thing we're excited about that's coming up, so keep a watch. We just got nominated for a Josie Award, which I think we're still we're pinching ourselves, still trying to figure out how that happened. We have no idea how we got nominated. We have no idea how we ended up in this category with 3 other people who are way more qualified than we are.
Well, the Josie Awards, can you explain what that is? I get that on my feed a lot. Is that an independent artist award show?
Yeah. It is. It's a big independent award show. It's a really big deal. And there was a few expletives when I got the email at 10:30 one night on the couch. I was like, oh my God, and I said, we got nominated for a Josie Award. And he went, who did?
Yeah.
So we are up for Bluegrass Duo of the Year come October. So we're excited about that. So we're thankful to them for acknowledging us. And I think we're just super grateful to our parents for putting up with us and letting us do all this, and all of our friends who support us. We have so many friends who come out and support us, and you said we have friends hanging out with us tonight while we do this. So we've got a great group of people in our corner, and we're very grateful for all of them. So. Well,
Jason and Kalii, let you get back to them. Like I said, I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. I want you to come back whenever you have something to promote. If you have a show that you got, or a new album, or creators got to create, or if you're really happy that you cured somebody of their mental illness.
Call you. Maybe next time we come back, we'll have a Josie Award in one hand, and I'll tell you some cure I found for something in the other, or something.
Does anybody ever get cured? No, it's an ongoing process.
It is.
Yes, take care of your mental health. If you haven't learned anything else, and music goes a long way. Listening to cool music. All right. I usually like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Now, Kalii, I'm going to have you give the first last word for the people, because ladies first, and then Jason, you are going to give the last words for the people. So, Kalii Roller, give the last words for the people.
I'm coming up on my last week of summer break, so my last words for the people are just soak in that sunshine, and then come August 1st, soak some in for me.
Jason Roller, last words for the people.
I'm just going to say, be happy and make good music.
There you go.
Well, there you have it, party people. Jason and Kalii Roller, the Rollers. Not just great music, a love story. Isn't that cool? I mean, she was... I think whether you believe in the fates or not, she was heading for Indianapolis at one point or another, and he's from Indianapolis. So, make of that what you will. But either way, I'm so glad that they found each other. I'm so glad that you found each other, Jason and Kalii. And I'm glad that you came on the What Makes You Famous podcast and told a little bit about your story. Not the whole story. I mean, if you want to know more, you better head over to what is it? The rollersduo.com. The rollersduo.com. And they're pretty much the Rollers Duo everywhere on social media, on their Facebook, on their Instagram, and on their TikTok. They have a TikTok, the Rollers Duo. So find them everywhere, and stream their music, and buy some merch, and go to a show, and all that kind of stuff. Support the Rollers. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, I'm turning my attention to you, my loyal listener. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.